Okay, we're going to look at something called midpoint. The midpoint is the point which is in the middle of an interval. Okay, so if you've got an interval A, B, the midpoint is the point on that interval right in the middle. So let's see if we can work out what the midpoint is for this particular example. Okay, so we've got the point 1, 2. So if I draw a little dotted line down there, that's going to be 1, and then a horizontal line across here. That's going to be 2. Let me use my line tools here. If I draw a vertical line down here, that's going to be 7. There we go. And then if I draw a horizontal line, looks roughly horizontal, a little bit up. That'll do. Okay, so that's going to be 5, isn't it, on the y-axis? Okay, so there's the y-axis and here's the x-axis. Now I want to find the point right in the middle. Okay, so that means if I just draw a dotted line here, that's the x value of m. If I come across here, that's the y value. Okay, so I've got to find the point halfway between 1 and 7. Now the easiest way to do that is to add the two numbers on the x-axis, 1 and 7 together, and divide by 2. All right, that's going to give you 8 on 2, which equals 4. Now, we'll do the same thing for the y coordinate. For the y coordinate, I want to find the y value on the x-axis, which is halfway between 2 and 5, because we're trying to find the middle. Okay, so it's going to give you 2 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 7 on 2, which is 3.5. So your midpoint then, so we'll put down here, your midpoint has coordinates 4 for the x, 3.5 for the y. Okay, so the coordinates for this point here, so it's going to be 4 there, and then 3.5 there. Okay, so coordinates of 4, 3.5 for that midpoint. All right, so all you got to do is find the average of the x values. So if you look at the x value here of 1 and 7, you find the average of those. So you add 1 plus 7 divided by 2. That gives you the 4. And then you take the y values of the endpoints of the interval and you add those together and divide by 2. 2 plus 5 divided by 2 gives you 3.5. Okay, so conclusion would be to find the midpoint, find the average of the x coordinates and find the average of the y coordinates. Of the y coordinates. Okay. All right, so let's apply it to an example. Here we go. So I want to find the midpoint, so the point right in the middle there of the interval. So capital M for midpoint. So I'm just going to get the x values, 1 and 6 there. I'm going to add those together, divide by 2. And then I'll get the y coordinates, 2 and 5. And I'm going to add those together because I'm finding the average, divide by 2. So that should give you 1 plus 6 is 7. You could leave that as 7 over 2, or you could write it as 3.5, and this is also 7 over 2. Right, they won't always be the same number. Now let's do this one. So I want to find the coordinates of the point right in the middle. So I'm just going to add the x coordinates divided by 2. Then I'm going to add the y coordinates and divide by 2. Right, that's going to give you 4 divided by 2, which is 2, and 8 divided by 2, which is 4. All right, moving right along. Or maybe you want to pause the video now. You're pretty confident. You want to have a go. Okay, so midpoint, I'm just going to take the x values, -5, add the other x value, which is 3, divided by 2. I'm going to take 1 for the y value, add the other y value, divide by 2. And -5 plus 3 is -2, divided by 2 is -1. 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so the midpoint is -1, 3. What about this one? Here we go. Same thing again. Add the x values together, -6 plus 7, divided by 2, and then add the y values together, -2 plus 3, divided by 2. Okay, that's going to give you -6 plus 7 is 1, so that's just going to be a half there. -2 plus 3, also a half. Okay, we've got the same number again. That's not always going to happen. All right. What about this one? Determine the coordinates of the midpoint on interval PQ. So you've got P and Q, they're 2 points. I want to find the point in between them. So again, I'm just going to take the x values and add them together, divide by 2. Then take the y values, add those together, divide by 2. Now, 9 and 5 is 14, divided by 2 is 7. -1 plus 9 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so 74 is the midpoint. And that is it.